So this is week 4. So we are going to have a paper due this week. So I'm going to post this video to get you sort of up to date on that particular process. You do have readings this week. So you have Flannery O'Connor and some of the essays that follow A Good Man is Hard to Find by Flannery O'Connor. But read those and then set them aside until next week. And for our discussion board next week, we'll kind of mix all of those readings together. This week, your primary purpose is your women's literature paper, paper number 1. And so what you're going to do is by Wednesday, you will have uploaded your rough draft of your paper. As a good benchmark, if you wait until Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, you won't get any feedback. Most of the time, people who wait end up maybe getting one person responding, or if they're lucky. So try to get in by Wednesday, and then your final paper, and you turn in your rough draft on your discussion board, okay? And then your final paper is due on Turnitin by Saturday at midnight. Okay, just kind of remember that Turnitin is all stuff that comes to me. Discussion board is stuff that you distribute to the class. And so in the discussion board, you have no webcams this week. You're uploading your rough draft to the discussion board on Wednesday or by Wednesday, and then you should respond to at least 2 other rough drafts and substantive responses, not like this is a really great paper. Okay, and that's it. And one thing I always say for guidance is take a look at the rubric, okay, that I posted on the announcements page, and match that rubric up with that person's paper. And that will also give you some insight into how the paper process works. You'll notice that there's steep cliffs each place on the rubric, and so you don't want to go from a 15 to a 10 to a 5. Okay, you want to try to stay in that realm of 10 or 15 for each of those categories. So pull up the rubric, take a look at somebody's paper and say, well, I think this part in the rubric, you got a 10, you might want to take a look and see if you can goose that up a little bit. So stuff about thesis, comprehension, MLA style, and so on, all there on the rubric. So sort of take a look at the person's paper in the guise of the rubric and use that as sort of the framework for your responses, and so on. So one thing, too, that a lot of students expect is for me to go through every individual rough draft. This is 112, and so I expect that you've gone through that stuff in 111. But now it's time for you to sort of take greater ownership of your papers. And for papers 3 and 4, for instance, you won't have rough drafts at all. So for papers 1 and 2, you're soliciting feedback from your community, okay, and gathering that feedback, saying, yes, I agree with that, no, I don't, and so on and so forth. And then just sort of self-grading yourself on your rubric until you get to that Turnitin.com stuff, and then you upload it, and then I'm the one that does the final grading, basically. But if you're thinking about the rubric, you're thinking about the assignment, you've seen the description, you know MLA style, those are really the big things that you need to focus on. So other than that, that's the way that this week works out. Again, with Flannery O'Connor, read that in the casebook, but hold that until next week. We'll talk about Southern literature all together over the next couple of weeks, but make sure that you do get a chance to read it, because then you won't have as much snowballing on you next week. But again, the process, Wednesday, rough draft, okay, should be uploaded to the discussion board. 2 feedbacks from you to other people, and usually that should be by Friday, because by Saturday it's kind of late to help anybody out. And then Saturday at midnight, you should have your final draft to me through Turnitin.com. The Turnitin.com login information remains on the announcements page, and then that's the entire process that goes on there. Again, the rubric is on the announcements page, so use that as the framework for when you look over somebody else's paper and your own. And then, of course, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.